Back on July 29th, Ryobi sent out this press release announcing the new 12.5-inch corded thickness planer. It's got a 15-amp motor, 4-column frame, 1/20th inch adjustment, and extra long infeed and outfeed tables. This one is mine. I had it a few days before Ryobi announced it, which isn't that unusual around here because tool manufacturers send us their tools early all the time. But this one is different because I bought it with my own money days before it was announced. And I paid less than retail, all because of a new tool store that opened up just a few miles from my home. Curious yet? Let's go. All right, so first things first, this is my first planer. I've used many of them in the past growing up in my father's shop, but never had one of my own. This isn't a particularly fancy model. It's obviously a 120-volt corded tool, and that motor spins just 2 planer knives, while more expensive ones will likely have 3, or a helical cutter, which is covered in a few dozen square carbide blades. Now, if you're not familiar with a planer, it uses its flat bed and wide flat cutting blades to slowly shave tiny amounts of wood off of a piece, allowing you to adjust the thickness of a piece of wood, giving you flat, parallel sides that make woodworking insanely easier. I've been using this entry-level model from Ryobi for the past couple of weeks, and I can't tell you how much nicer it is working with planed wood. But as I mentioned, the most interesting thing about this planer to me is how I got it. A new power tool store opened up at an outlet mall a few miles from here. It was actually my UPS guy that told me about it. It's called Direct Tools. This isn't going to be new to everyone, but it was to me. When you go inside, if you're a tool guy, you're going to know what it is immediately based on the brands alone. Brands like Ryobi, Rigid, Echo, Auric, Hoover, and even a little bit of Milwaukee. Those are all TTI brands. And after I talked with the staff, I confirmed that the store is actually owned by TTI. Now, the store is dominated by Ryobi tools, but there's still a decent amount of Rigid as well. All the tools are either marked refurbished or blemished. When I asked the employee what blemish meant, he smirked and said, "This." Then he pointed to the corner of a box on a sander that had been crushed in. Mind you, this was a tiny dent. As it turns out, when a pallet of Ryobi tools is delivered to Home Depot, if even one box is dented like that, they refuse the entire pallet. That pallet of tools then gets sent to one of 32 Direct Tools locations, and it's sold at a discount. Now remember, only one of those boxes was dented. The rest all get the blemish sticker and a discount. That was when I glanced over and saw a pallet of Ryobi planers that didn't exist. I asked the guy what they were, and he laughed and said, "I'm the only place in the country that has these." And he was right. It was still 3 days before the press release arrived, and it wasn't on Home Depot's or Ryobi's websites. He pointed me to a single box with, yep, a dented corner. So they all got the blemish sticker, and the price was dropped by $40 off of retail. So I couldn't help myself. I bought it. When I got home, I went to the Direct Tools website and found a ton of the same blemish tools that I could have shipped directly to my door. Now, my experience with this planer was likely a fluke. It's not many weeks later, and this guy still isn't on the Direct Tools website, but it is at Home Depot, and as of today, it's actually the exact same price I paid since they're having a Labor Day sale. So Direct Tools isn't a guaranteed slam dunk, but if you happen to be near one of the 32 stores, it just might be worth a visit. And of course, if you're looking for an affordable planer, well, I love mine so far. If that changes, I'll let you know.